Okay, boxing fans, I'm going to talk to you today about Martin Gethin versus Ammeth Diaz at lightweight for the IBF final eliminator. The winner faces Miguel Vasquez for the IBF lightweight title. Martin Gethin is 24 wins, 11 of which by way of knockout, to 3 defeats, only one of which by KO, and there's also a draw thrown in there too. Ammeth Diaz is 31 wins, 22 of which by way of knockout, to 11 defeats, 7 of which by way of knockout, and that's a 34 fight record. No, it's not, it's a 43 fight record. I bet everyone wishes I could count. I'm hungry. So anyway, like I said, it's final eliminator. The winner will face IBF lightweight champion Miguel Vasquez. Now, I'm not checked this yet, but it really depends on who the favourite is in this fight, who's going to win this one. And I've got a feeling that Bet365 will put Martin Gethin as the favourite in this fight because he's got home advantage, and he's coming off a few good wins in his career. However, he spent the majority of his career around the English title scene, and only in his last fight has he actually won the British title. He has beat other guys like Carl Johansson, who is actually his best opponent, and the reason that he beat Carl Johansson, he won some IBF bitch title, and that put him into the final eliminator here, right? Now, I'm not sure how good Martin Gethin is. I'm really not. So now I'm going to look at Ammeth Diaz, and the first thing that you see when you see his record is the big fat 11 losses, 7 of which by way of knockout. And the first thing that comes into your head is obviously, this guy's a bum, but he's a journeyman. But if you look a little closer at his record, that's not the case, mate. In fact, I would say he must be the favourite in this fight. I mean, I've just glanced through his record while I've, been making this prediction, and he's actually been fighting at a higher level than Gethin throughout his career. I mean, he's fought for the Latino title, which is the equivalent, to like a Commonwealth title in the UK, for 3 or 4 fights. He's fought that a few times. He's also fought like the Federico title. Don't know what that is, or that might be Federation. I assume that would translate to. So I assume that would be similar to the British. And he's also done the Panama one, which would be like similar to the English. So he's fought at all these different levels for a much longer time than Martin Gethin has fought for the British title. So I'm not sure. Plus, this guy's also fought for a world title and wasn't stopped. He wasn't stopped. He lost it wide points decision, but he fought for the world title yet, and Gethin's not really fought for a world title. Moving on, I'm going to talk about the attributes in this fight and which ones are more important, and I'm just going to pick out 3. The power obviously is very important, and I'm giving that one to Diaz. He has just under more KOs than Gethin has wins. He has, Diaz has 22 KOs. Gethin has 24 wins. Shows just how much power Diaz does have, and Gethin doesn't. Even though that Gethin, and I do respect the guy. He prides himself on coming forward and putting his power game onto his opponent, but he's only got a 40% KO ratio, and he has been outboxed before, and it could happen again. I'm not sure that will be the case in this fight because of the way their styles will match up, but I've got to move on to Diaz. He's got 7 cold KOs. Gethin has none. All of the stoppages that Gethin has had have been guys stopped on their feet. Diaz has had obviously a load stopped on their feet too, but he's had 7 times the amount of cold KOs where the guy couldn't get up. Says a lot. Says a lot about the power. So I give that to Diaz. Moving on to the chin. The first thing people say is they're giving the chin to Gethin, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on the chin to Gethin, but it's only a seemingly way that he has a better chin. It only seems that way, because Gethin has been stopped before, just not 7 times. And he's also knocked down by a journeyman in the final round of a 4-rounder, in which was actually the draw that he's got, and it was described as a glancing blow. So it wasn't even like a huge power shot that dropped him like Matisse dropped Peterson with, that huge power shot. It wasn't like that. It was just a glancing blow. Probably like the first one that Matisse knocked Peterson down with. So yeah, except that guy's nothing like Matisse. I just want to point that out to the journeyman. So I'm not sure about how good Gethin's chin is, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Looking at Ammeth Diaz, he has been stopped 7 times, which suggests fragility. However, at the same time, all these guys who have stopped him are world level contenders. Go through these guys. Half of them are world title winners, and the other half, are world title challengers or have fought for the world title. It says quite. I think that says a lot. He's been stopped by the best, but he's not been stopped by bums basically. Moving on, the styles. Basically, these two guys are gonna meet head on, throw big shots. Gethin, I assume, can be a bit flat-footed. He is a bit flat-footed, but so's Diaz. He can be a bit flat-footed too. I'm not a big believer in Gethin's power. I'm more of a believer in Diaz's power. Diaz seems to be one of these guys who, you fight him, and the only way to beat him is you outbox him or you get stopped. That's how you do it, and I'm not sure Gethin can do that. So it's definitely weird. But Gethin does have the better chin, apparently, seemingly, right? Diaz is more fragile, something that people have to point out. It's all going to come down to who is the bigger puncher on the night, who's going to use their experience that they've got in their career. And one guy has higher experience, much higher experience than the other guy, and one guy's got more power than the other guy, in my opinion. So I can't look past this. I can't see past it, mate, guys. Prediction: I'm going to say Diaz wins this fight by knockout inside 8 rounds. I just want to also say, Gethin said himself that he was going to, pack in boxing. He was going to pack it in not too long ago, because he didn't seem like he was going anywhere in the boxing world. Now, if you think that Gethin is going to win this fight, and that is fine if you do think he's going to win that fight, but if you're then going to use your thought on Gethin's going to win this fight over me, and you're going to write a load of abusive messages to me, just remember that he was going to quit boxing no less than a few years ago, because he wasn't going anywhere, because the level of boxing he was at was English title level. This guy at the same time was fighting for the world title. So you can understand why I say that Gethin is going to lose this fight.